What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I actually have a handful of outstanding topics that I want to go ahead and discuss. So I'm having a bit of trouble on which one I wanted to pinpoint first, but I think I'm going to go ahead and sit back and talk about this topic right here because I've been mentioning this for a very long time now with Modern Warfare 2. And after finally seeing, some other people coming out and, saying the same thing, I feel a little less crazy about how I feel on this overall topic. So again, sit back, relax. We're going to go ahead and discuss. I want you guys to go down in the comment section as well and leave your opinions about this overall topic. And of course, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe. We're on the grind right now to 50,000 subscribers. And like I said, I have a ton of other amazing commentaries that I want to share with you guys, a bunch of more Call of Duty information, and we also dabble in other FPS titles as well. So like I said, if you enjoy the content, you enjoy the commentaries, subscribe and hit that bell notification button. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now if you've been watching my channel since Modern Warfare 2 first initially dropped, you know that my opinions about how the community is handling this game have been a tad bit different. I respect and I acknowledge all the things that are wrong with this game, and I definitely think it's not the best Call of Duty game out there. I personally think it's a bit better than, the Modern Warfare 2019, but that's all opinion-based. But compared to the OGs, like, for example, Black Ops 2 that you're seeing right here, I mean, they just simply can't compare. They can't compare. But there have been a lot of complaints roaming around in the community that make me think, like, have you guys played the traditional OG Call of Duty games? And again, I'm not trying to be, offensive to anybody, but it truly does shock me, the stuff that people say. And then, like I said, they triple down on these statements. And it got to a point where I always have to think, am I wrong? Am I going crazy? And then I go back and I play Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 3. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. And I go back to play Modern Warfare 2 and everybody's saying the same thing. I'm like, am I going crazy? And I have to go back to Call of Duty 4 or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. But like I said, I've seen more content creators come out, and NerosCinema actually put out a pretty good tweet. Now, again, I don't completely agree with everything he's saying, and I'm going to describe a little bit later on, what I don't agree with, but the overall general idea of what he's stating here, I think, stands. NerosCinema said, hot take, people who complain about movement in Modern Warfare 2 are weird. Sliding around like Apex was silly in COD, and it can still box bump a bungalow with your $200 plus controllers. If anything, jumping should be nerfed even more just to make COD feel like COD again. Now, I would not go as far as calling everybody weird who wants movement in games because, people do love movement games. It's as simple as that. So you're not weird for enjoying something like that. It's not wrong that you enjoy movement in any type of FPS shooter out there. But like I said, I think the point that he's trying to make, he was probably just raging. He probably got into a match and he was just getting pissed off. This is, like I said, it's a spicy take here from him. But realistically, if you sit down, he does speak some truth here. A lot of the movement that people are complaining about was never in COD. And a lot of people who want this movement are trying to defend it by saying that it was in previous CODs. Now, the movement in Modern Warfare 2 2022 is pretty darn bad. Compared to back in the day, it's horrifying. At least back in the day, you had things like lightweight, you had marathon, your attachments didn't weigh down your gun and make you slow as hell. You could still put stock on your weapons as well to give you better ADS speed. I mean, there are so many ways to allow you to move fast, be aggressive, and get into more, engaging gunfights without having to sacrifice too much. In Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, you literally have to sacrifice everything. If you want good ADS speeds, if you want good strafing movement, you literally have to make the worst build of your gun in order to get those, those attributes, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't have to suffer that much just to be able to move a little bit quicker. It's very weird. But those are the main problems. ADS speeds, strafe speeds, how your weapons are being affected by attachments, how the perks are lined up. Those are the problems with the movement. But like I always say, every single time I hop on Modern Warfare 2, there's always going to be people who say, slide canceling is so legit. It's been like this in COD for ages. Or, I used to always be able to quadruple B hop. I could bunny hop like 5-6 times into a slide cancel and keep the momentum going. I mean, I truthfully don't know what game you guys are playing. I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form, but I literally play these games every single day almost. All the OG classics. And none of them have cracked out movement like people always claim they do. And like I said, I've been saying this since day one, and I've always been called crazy. I've always been called crazy when I say that I don't want that movement because it was never in COD. That movement just isn't COD. And everybody's like, oh, what are you talking like, bro? I used to do that in Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2. And then, look at the gameplay right here. If I B-hop in Black Ops 2, do you know how slow you move after your initial land? Should you know how slow if you ADS and you jump and you land while you're ADS? Do you know how slow you move? You can't move. Jump shotting in Call of Duty was a strategy, but it was a strategy that you had to think about before using. You couldn't abuse it like you could in Modern Warfare 2019. I really think the jetpack era of COD and then Modern Warfare 2019 and Black Ops 4 as well. Black Ops 4 is partially to blame. Even though I enjoyed the hell out of that game, that was probably the fastest boots on the ground title we have ever gotten. And I truthfully think that after the jetpack era, like COD, just the fan base has forgotten what OG COD is about. But like I said, jump shotting or B-hopping was a strategy. It was a move that was very efficient, but you had to think before using it. It wasn't, like I said, Modern Warfare 2019 or BO4 where you can spam it and you can keep B-hopping every couple of seconds without losing any momentum. No, if you B-hopped, you had to be certain where you're landing and if you're ready to engage. Because once you B-hop, you're completely exposed. You're not going to be able to move for about a couple, maybe in a few seconds. You can move, but you're going to be moving at such a slug pace that, again, when you do it, you have to make sure you do it efficiently. It wasn't something that any random dude could just run around and B-hop 50,000 times and spam the buttons all the time. No, it wasn't like that. It was strategy behind the movement mechanics. So, once again, I just want to bring this argument up here because I want to see if people still believe this stuff. Because, like I said, I've been trying to branch off and make content like this all the time. I made, what's the name of that video? Maps aren't the problem in Modern Warfare 2. And I was thinking about doing a part 2 of that because in that video, I only showcased maps that were in World at War, Modern Warfare 2, and I believe I think I pulled up some Call of Duty 4 as well. I'm not sure. But I want to do a part 2 because I want to hop into Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3 as well to show that, again, the maps aren't necessarily extraordinarily big. Like, everybody's always saying the map designs are too big in Modern Warfare 2. The movement is, it's not like OG COD whatsoever, the movement in this game. The time to kill is way too fast, which is another, one that I wanted to go ahead and showcase to you guys as well, because the time to kill has always been ridiculously fast in OG Call of Duty games. I mean, just look at, who was it? I think the exclusive Ace during the beta did a time to kill test. You can literally go look at the live charts and see the time to kill with your own eyes and see that literally old school CODs had a really fast time to kill. It's basically no difference than what we're dealing with current date. So the point I'm trying to make here, again, I'm rambling off a bit on a lot of different topics. We have to hyper focus on the real issues. I don't agree with everything NerosCinema is saying here. I don't think they should nerf the B-hop anymore. It's no point in that because the B-hop, like I said, has always been a valuable move. It's always been something that you can use as a skill gap in Call of Duty. Always. But again, the people who are saying that, Call of Duty's always been like Quake, or it's always been like Doom. It's always been like some insanely fast-paced, arena shooter where you're flying across the map, you're hitting all these insane moves. It was never like that. I mean, if I really think hard about it, I don't even think the, crazy scuff controllers and all these like $200+ controllers like NerosCinema was saying has even been introduced into COD until like what? I think it was a boots on the ground Call of Duty game. I think it was around Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 2 because it was when Call of Duty was getting a lot more competitive. And, you used back bumpers so you can B-hop a bit easier because I believe you had to play, what was it again? Shoot, I forget the, because we all played on basic controllers. It was no such thing as this stuff back in the day. We all played on basic controllers. You had to change your controller format so you could drop shot with the analog stick. You know what I'm saying? You guys know exactly. I'm sure it's going to be 50 comments down below telling me exactly. I think it was tactical, some controller layout crap. But that's what we did. That's what we did. We never had crazy movement. We had to change our controller layouts just so we could drop shot a bit easier and jump shot a bit easier. That's it. But the crazy movement started with Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare came out. That's when we started getting all these insane controllers with all these different features that you can do. And then, people are going absolutely absurd with movement. Then Black Ops 3, then Infinite Warfare. The movement gets crazier and crazier and crazier. Then we take 50,000 steps back with World War II, which again, like I said, everybody was pissed off about. Then we went right over to Black Ops 4, where we went right back to the advanced movement with, you can have your paddles. Everything feels nice and fluent. Modern Warfare 2019, same thing, nice and fluent. You guys see the pattern here? You guys see the pattern? The point I'm trying to make here is that, yeah, movement is not bad in FPS games. And if you like movement shooters, that's fantastic. But please don't try to pretend that Call of Duty is something that it's not, because this wasn't what it was back in the day. With all honesty, people cared more about accuracy. If you wanted to run and gun, you need to be able to shoot. You couldn't rely off of, spamming the B-hop to cover every 5 seconds or, breaking camera angles with slide canceling. No, if you wanted to run and gun, you had to be able to shoot your gun. It's as simple as that. If you couldn't shoot your gun, you can't run and gun because you can't win engagements, that are going to be not in your favor. Call of Duty was all about picking and moving. If you play a competitive lobby, people aren't going to be rushing each other. They're going to be holding power positions. They're going to be holding cover because they know that they need that cover because they're versing someone who's equally skilled, who has equally better, accuracy, equally better, map knowledge, so on and so forth. But in, your casual lobbies, if you wanted to go ahead and pub stomp and stuff like that and get really runny and gunny, you were allowed to do so. But you had to be able to shoot. You couldn't abuse your mechanics. You couldn't abuse movement to basically make up for the lack of aim. And again, I'm not coming at anybody. I'm not saying, because a lot of people who do have good movement have amazing aim as well to match up with it. I'm not saying that people can't aim because they love to move. I'm just saying, as I've been saying, we have to focus on the correct things because you get to see right in front of your face. And I'll say this right now, Infinity Ward games are slower than this. So I'm showing you guys a prime example. BO2 is probably the fastest boots on the ground game out of all the base originals. From Call of Duty 4 up to BO2, this was the fastest one that we got. So I'm giving you guys a major benefit of the doubt on this one. And still, this game, do you see guys see me quadruple B hopping? Do you see anybody else in the lobby quadruple B hopping? Do you see anybody else even B hopping, let alone? And then moving like at the speed of light after B hopping? No. You put a stock on your gun, you could strafe extremely fast, and you rely on accuracy along with drop shotting, and obviously you have a single jump shot if you want to take advantage of it. It is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I have to say for this video. It's nothing too crazy. I just saw this tweet from NerosCinema, and I really wanted to give my 2 cents on it because I saw him getting absolutely bashed. And once again, it's because I believe the way he worded it. He made it seem like if you like movement, you just suck. That's how I personally read it. But again, I don't. A lot of people always jump to conclusion right off their first read and they get instantly salty. Like I said, I sat back, I read it a little, and I understand it. I understand the overall, basically what he's trying to say here. It's the same thing I've been saying since day one. People who are claiming that this is what COD is supposed to be, triple B-hop, slide cancel, Doom/Quake type stuff. It hasn't been like that in the past, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. OG COD played outstanding, did it not? Did anybody complain about Modern Warfare 3? Did anybody complain about BO2, Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty 4, World at War? Yeah, we had our fair share of complaints. We always do. We're the COD community. We're known for complaining, right? But at the end of the day, were we mad about this stuff? No, it wasn't insanely fast-paced. It was partially clunky. It wasn't the smoothest thing in the world, but we loved it to death. We loved it to death. So, to see people say, oh, well, Call of Duty 4 and World at War, Modern Warfare 2, I was doing this, and that. And then, I go back and I play these games all the time. And, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We just have to focus on the right thing, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I'm going to repeat it one last time. ADS speeds, attachments, how they affect your weapons, the base sprint to fire speeds, adding in perks to assist with movement. These things will improve the game overall. And a lot of other things as well. That was just a bare minimum of what they can actually improve upon. But that's what we have to focus on. Not on having 50 extra B-hops included. Not on, adding in a broken mechanic like slide canceling to break camera angles. No, we need to focus on how to bring the gunfights back to the core OG days, where I can still pick and move, I can be aggressive, I can still have fun, without having to worry about, being slowed down by just the overall mechanics of the game. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button. I hate it, leave a dislike. Also, for brand new, enjoy the content, subscribe and tap the notification button. Also, want to chat me, there's 2 ways to do so. I have Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also, want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch. Link that's in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.